What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We back with another video today. We're watching Saiyan, Cell Prime versus Frieza, Reincarnation Pride Trooper Asia. Cell Prime episode 4, and we watched episode 5 as well. So we about to get into it, man. This story's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and I'm ready to check it out, see what's going on, and let's get into it, man.
Following his encounter with Cell Prime, Kakamasu, the fusion of Kakarot and Zamasu, now finds himself with the Continuity Patrol. They each have a common goal in mind, not just preserving continuities, but also stopping Cell Prime. Cell Prime might have won that battle, but ultimately, he created a new enemy for himself, as he winds up in a brand new continuity as well. Today, we begin part 4 of Cell Prime. At the time, as Kakamasu get to see what it's like watching over different continuities, with Cronoa and Piccolo showing him what to do. It's strange. He's always wanted to do this. Meet Cronoa and go up another level, but not like this. Of course, under different circumstances, this would be much better. But he has a unique view here. He actually fought Cell Prime, so he knows a little bit more about him than the others do. So far, they've struggled to catch him and haven't really seen him in action, at least not up close. So Kakamasu can offer a new perspective for them. Hit and Granola have been working on a way to actually try and trap Cell, which involves them manipulating time once they actually encounter him. Of course, now that they're part of the patrol, it's a little bit weird trying to manipulate time for them, because they really shouldn't be messing with something like that. But what they're doing probably won't be too bad. They're not going to be creating a separate timeline or anything. They're just going to be stopping time and warping it around them. And it's a dire circumstance, so Cronoa says it's probably for the better. All the while, Cell arrives in his new continuity. But it's strange. This one seems oddly different than the others. He feels a weird presence throughout the entire universe that he's in. Usually when he's just in the void of space, he doesn't feel anything like this, but now he does. It's like he's not in a normal location. Not like he's in the void of space. It's almost like he's within someone's aura or something. Well, maybe it's just someone really strong not too far away. In the meantime, he wants to try practicing some new abilities. Hopefully he has a moment to chill. He starts meditating, trying to bring up all the data that the computer gave him. There's got to be more techniques in there that he's not using, stuff that he doesn't know about, or stuff that he isn't taking advantage of. And as he looks through the memories of the computer that made him, he comes across one thing that's pretty interesting. A fight between Goku and Hit from his original continuity. Obviously he knew about Hit, but this part's strange. He didn't actually get to see Hit in person, at least not until now. It seems there was one point where Hit actually came to Universe 7 and fought Goku, and there's a ton of valuable data here. And this would also mean that the computer probably gathered DNA from Hit too, which means from the recordings, he could probably learn about Hit's time abilities. And from the DNA, he might have access to pure progress, which would make him grow even faster. But he didn't even realize that was part of him. Even without Hit's abilities, he could have figured out how to skip time regardless. But this is going to make it a whole lot easier. He copies it directly from what he remembers from the computer. And briefly, he's able to activate time skip. Pretty easily, in fact. He didn't realize this was even in there. Maybe he even used it before unintentionally, didn't even realize.
This motherfucker about to just be fucking
this is much better.
Strong as fuck.
He can make this go even farther. And not just time skip. He could probably find ways to warp time even beyond this. And with this different time control, maybe he could finally stop that glitching that he's experiencing. Of course, maybe the two are completely unrelated, but he won't know if he doesn't try. And at worst, this is an extra technique for him. At best, it helps him solve one of his big issues. But all the while, he feels that presence grow more and more. Well, it looks like he hasn't been detected yet, though, so he goes to a nearby planet, then starting to realize where he is. It appears he's in Universe 11. He arrives on one of the planets, and it's pretty densely populated, so it should be easy for him to blend in here. He just has to suppress his ki. And with more time to himself to practice his abilities and such, he also starts thinking of what other ways he could use his abilities. He remembers the other version of himself, the one from the other timeline in his continuity. The original Cell that we know of. He apparently did some sort of Cell games, so maybe this Cell should do that too. Have all the strongest warriors gather in one place and just fight him one-on-one. That would be perfect for him. But that would be a little bit tough to set up. Maybe he could try and overtake the world of Void somewhere, and figure out ways to transport people across continuities to fight him. But that's for later. For now, he'll just lay low. He continues meditating, but he can sense that presence again, getting closer and closer. And then it hits him. He finally realized who it is. He should have recognized it before. It was familiar. 3 familiar people show up. The Pride Troopers. Despite Cell trying to lay low, these 3 were obviously skilled enough to figure out where he was. It's Toppo, Dispo, and Jiren. Just like Cell, Jiren was able to pick out his presence amongst the trillions of life forms in this universe. It was pretty easy. They have no clue of who Cell is, though. Just that he clearly seems to be a threat. His presence alone is evil enough to sense that. Normally, Jiren wouldn't even get involved with this, but considering how strong this guy seems to be, he's here just in case they need someone to end it quickly. And Cell says that's pretty big talk from Jiren. He knows Jiren's powerful, but by now, there's no way Jiren's even close to his level. Much less the other 2. But what he doesn't realize is he's not fighting the same people he thinks he is. Toppo goes in first to fight, easily being defeated by Cell without him even transforming. It's nice to have a more low-key battle for once. This is going to be a nice low-stakes test for his strength, and he won't even have to use his prime form. He could just mess with his different abilities here, probably even using time control and such. But something about this seems really off. Is this just a normal Universe 11, or is it something more? He fends off these 3 troopers and they show off their full power right after that. Now this is more like it. God of Destruction Topo, full power Jiren, and light speed mode Dispo. Still, these people won't match him, but at least it'll make this a little bit more fun than it was. But as he faces them, he realizes that these people are stronger than the counterparts that he knows about from his continuity. They're actually doing pretty well against him. Of course, Cell's still holding back. But then he feels another strange presence, one that he doesn't actually know about. For some reason, it feels a little familiar, but he can't quite put his finger on why. Another Pride Trooper launches onto the planet, with Jiren saying that he's glad he's here. The strongest Pride Trooper has finally showed up. Wait, isn't Jiren supposed to be the strongest, by far too? And Cell doesn't know who this guy is. He's never heard of him or seen him. Maybe it's a Pride Trooper from Universe 11 that he just never encountered and that no one else encountered either. Someone that wasn't worth mentioning, but then why is he the strongest? And as the man looks at Cell, he seems to be in disbelief. Like, he can recognize Cell and can't believe that he's seeing him right here. He even addresses Cell by name. How does someone from Universe 11 know about him? Unless they know about him hopping continuities, but that doesn't make sense. No, he says he's actually seen pictures of Cell as a kid. He actually isn't from Universe 11 originally. He was born in Universe 7, actually on Earth. When Cell first showed up, he was actually still alive, albeit very young, and Gohan told him a lot about Cell. Gohan, huh? He knows Gohan. What a small multiverse. Not that it really matters, though. Cell Prime still thinks the other Cell's a fool for dying to Gohan of all people. So who's this clown supposed to be? He says his name is Azir, and as he walks towards Cell, he starts powering up even further. Cell's kind of taken aback by this because the power that's rising, there's a lot of it. And that familiar sense that he felt before, he feels it more and more. But how come he's never heard of this guy, especially if he's from Universe 7? Azir explains to Cell. He has no clue why Cell's back in the first place or why he's in Universe 11 of all places. But it seems that Cell doesn't know about him. He assumes this Cell is still part Frieza, right? Well, in a way, Azir is too. What, is he also genetically engineered from Frieza's DNA? Not that that would really matter. Frieza was unfortunately a weakling the last time Cell fought him. Azir doesn't really know what to think of that though. Frieza's long dead. But it seems Cell still doesn't get it. He's not simply part Frieza. No, he's different. He's the reincarnation of Frieza.
Oh.
There's a powerful burst of energy. First with Azir's hair flickering golden,
what the fuck?
Then becoming a jet black color. His face slightly changes too, and he has an increase in height as well. There's a reason they call him the strongest Pride Trooper.
Oh, kind of like,
Azir,
ooh.
the reincarnation of Frieza, now in his strongest form, his black form. Now, at first, Cell was just going to brush this off because it's the same form that Frieza used when he fought him not too long ago. But this guy seems to be on another level than that Frieza. Before Cell can even make a witty remark, Azir attacks him with all his might, and actually does do some damage, with the rest of the Pride Troopers joining in.
Well, doesn't Goku wished him back as a good person?
Not only has he grown far stronger, but so have the Pride Troopers around him. He doesn't know who the Cell is, but if they don't find out, it doesn't really matter. He's an evildoer, and no matter what, they're going to uphold justice. They all hit a pose on him as Cell regains his composure. Interesting. He's in a continuity where Frieza was reincarnated. He wouldn't have expected that, especially not him being here in this universe. Unfortunately for them, Cell's not at his full power. He showcases his prime form, and also tries to use his time skip as well. But as he skips through time, something catches him off guard. He thought no one would be able to attack him like this, but amidst the time skip, Jiren and Azir are able to react, barely being able to avoid his attack. But someone acts even faster than him, Dispo, able to outpace Cell's time skip. So it looks like he has time controlling abilities. Of course, for Azir and Jiren, they're strong enough and fast enough to work around that. But all the Pride Troopers are stronger. And Dispo says no matter how much he controls time, that's light work for him. He's even faster than those two. Sure, he doesn't match them in strength, but in terms of speed, he's the fastest thing in reality now, having trained under his angel, honing his speed even further trying to get to their level. Cell wipes the blood from his mouth. Dispo actually got a good hit on
Dispo with some remnants of Ultra Instinct is nasty.
Topo launches a
I'll give him
Cell
that.
dodges it easily with Ultra Instinct. Then trying to attack him.
That nigga probably
he activates his
untouchable.
time skip. First trying to eliminate Topo because he seems to be the slowest. But then Dispo tries to attack him. His attacks aren't too strong, but he does something strange. He uses some of Topo's energy. They're not stupid. Topo gave Dispo some of his energy. He now has the speed and power to fight Cell. And all the while, Jiren and Azir are pulling their weight too. He's barely able to dodge Dispo's Hakai. He doesn't know if that would have done much damage anyways, but he doesn't even want to risk it. But as he dodges, he ends up being attacked by Azir and Jiren simultaneously. Quickly, Cell activates both his red eyes. Trying to look for vital points, he's able to locate them, but with 4 of them fighting him at once, especially with their great synergy and teamwork, this might be a bit tougher than he expected. Azir tells him it doesn't matter what he's using. Even if he tries to control time even further, this isn't the first time they had to fight someone that's using time control. He's actually fought against multiple people who warp time. Even in his own universe, they exist and break galactic law, and as Pride Troopers, they've had to take these criminals down before. Cell continues trying to warp time, improving his time skip each time he does so, trying to even completely stop time. But every time he does this, Dispo's able to trip him up, and in between the time skips and such, Topo, Jiren, and Azir attack him. And even amidst the time warping, somehow Jiren's able to move a bit, and Azir's able to move even more, attacking Cell at points too. Can he actually outpace that? He expected this guy to be a fraud because he's Frieza's reincarnation, but it seems it's better for Frieza's power to be reincarnated than in the original body. This is going to be real fun. Far away, on his planet, Belmont's watching all this happen. The troopers really are impressive. They've all gotten far stronger and even have surpassed him.
Nigga, help
He
them
honestly
out.
didn't think Jiren could go any further, but all three of them have. Plus, that Azir guy from Universe 7, he's pretty interesting too, especially with the fact that he surpassed Jiren. But the fight's getting tougher and tougher, and then, Belmont has some visitors on his planet. He tells him he's in the middle of something important, but then he realizes who these four are and why they're here. 4 continuity patrollers: Kakarot, Hit, Granola, and Kakamasu. Kakarot still doesn't know what to think of this Kakamasu guy. It's really strange seeing himself from another reality fused with someone else, but he's probably going to see even weirder things as he continues this job. Amidst the battle, Cell's able to pull ahead, showing off more of his strength. These 4 are unable to use magic, and he's able to steal some of their power with that.
Oh, is
First,
that the
he stops
Kakarot
most
from the
annoying
fucking
one,
last
Dispo.
story?
He summons Raibo and Gogi, who trap
not
Dispo in a
mistaken.
time cage and also
Or one of
bind
the
his
stories
legs
I
so he
watched.
can't run
I don't
anymore.
know.
Cell focuses on stealing power from Topo and Jiren as he fights Azir at the same time. Topo's not too hard to take out next, and now Cell doesn't need to worry about Hakai's. They probably wouldn't have affected him anyways. But Azir tells Cell no matter what, he's not going to let him hurt this reality. Cell blames them. They didn't need to attack him. He was just going to lay low here and not do anything. But they had to play hero. So they brought this upon themselves. Azir summons more power. His eyes flash purple for a second, and he says Topo's not the only one who could use a Hakai, as Azir launches his own full power Hakai. And not a fake one either, it's a real one, even more potent than what Topo had. The issue is this uses a lot of his power though. But they have no choice. Cell fires one back, and it overpowers Azir's Hakai too. But it's good, because this preoccupies him, and it gives Jiren an opening to attack. The 2 Hakais explode, decimating the area they're in. It was a pretty fun battle, but Cell says now it's kind of boring. His hand glows vibrantly, charged with ki, as he pierces it right through Jiren, finishing him off with one attack. Topo tries to launch one last desperate Hakai, but Cell simply grabs him, then splitting it in 2 and flinging it back at Dispo and Topo, erasing both of them with Topo's
Oh,
own attack.
damn.
Azir feels an immense rage watching this, his friends being mortally wounded, this planet being destroyed, 2 of his friends being erased completely. He's not going to accept it. He charges all of his power to launch it one more time, with one last attack. But right as he's about to connect his attack with Cell, Cell simply stretches a hand out, piercing it right through his ear just like he did to Jiren. Cell actually chuckles a bit too. He wouldn't normally use a move like this, but Moro tried to use it against him, and it's pretty effective. Also, pretty brutal. He holds a hand out in front of his ear, ready to eliminate him completely. But Cell's eyes widen, and quickly, he tries to teleport away. He smirks, and says goodbye to his ear. A wormhole opens behind him as he goes to another continuity. 4 people then teleport in. Azir's badly wounded, bleeding out, but he smiles. He sees one of his friends. It's Goku here. Kakamasu curses everything. They got here too late. He goes to heal Jiren, trying to bring him back. The other 2 were completely erased, so there's no hope. And Azir calls Goku over to him, but it's not Goku. Kakarot gets kind of annoyed whenever someone calls him that name. He isn't Goku, and he still doesn't really know who Goku is. But he goes over to Azir anyways, realizing that he's basically almost dead. Kakarot calls Kakamasu over to heal him, but Azir says not to. He tells him to get away from here immediately. All he wanted to tell Goku is to avenge him. He could stop this. He knows his friend is going to be able to. He's glad he at least gets to see Goku one last time. And Kakarot doesn't really have the heart to tell him who he really is. But still, he promises Azir, no matter what, he'll defeat Cell. But they could still heal him. Azir doesn't have to die here. But Azir knows it's already too late. And Granola gets a better look at him, looking at his vitals. He tells everyone they need to go now. Even if Kakamasu heals him, it doesn't matter. Azir starts glowing. Cell turned him into a bomb. One last parting gift for the continuity patrol.
Oh, wow.
Kakarot drops him out of his arms, apologizing. They don't even have time to save the planet or try to teleport him away, because they don't know where to teleport him to, especially with the strength of the explosion. They get out of there just in the nick of time, but Azir explodes. And Cell put more than enough power to not just eliminate this planet, but the entire galaxy around them. No, it's expanding even beyond that, with a simple bomb, just by infusing Azir with his own ki when he attacked him. He did this. Granola and Hit even try to stop time, but even so, the best they'd be able to do is just move Azir somewhere else. The ki bomb is still going to explode regardless. They warp back to the time nest. Once again, they were too late. They couldn't save that timeline. And it's not just that timeline either. Cell's probably going to go to the other timeline that he split off. Maybe try to eliminate the entire continuity.
Damn,
Kakamasu's angered at
Cell
himself.
Prime?
But Kakarot feels an even weirder sense of anger. Despite not knowing who Azir is, holding Azir in his arms as he died, and being mistaken for this Goku guy, he feels a connection to Azir. And he did make a promise to him after all. But he controls his rage and calms down. If Cell's going to the adjacent timeline, they'll just chase him. If they work quick enough, they might be able to finally encounter him. Waste no more time. Kakamasu opens a portal quickly, with Kakarot making a promise to the others too. It was Azir's dying wish that they'd avenge him. And you know, Kakarot has a good feeling about this. He's fired up. That was just what he needed. As they enter their own portal, this is where we leave off for now. What'd you think about this part?
Alright, Destroyer Goku with Frieza's potential. Oh, so he's just going through all the stories. Cell Prime episode 5. Alright. So he's going through all this stuff. I think I watched that one. Goku with Frieza's potential. I'm trying to think. And I don't know if it's on the channel. I might have watched it on my own before I was really reacting to this. I might have watched this on the channel actually. But anyway, yeah. Episode 5 and yeah, let's get into it.
But this time, the Continuity Patrol is hot on his trail, with Kakamasu instantly opening up a portal to try and find him. After all this time chasing him, they might have finally got him in a corner. It's the first true meeting of the Continuity Patrol and Cell Prime. Let's begin part 5. Moments after Cell arrives in a new continuity, he senses a few visitors, the same people that he just saw before, and the same people that have been chasing him. Although one thing does interest Cell, seeing Kakamasu as part of the Continuity Patrol. It's not necessarily too unexpected, but it's pretty interesting to him. Especially because this time he also gets to see other members of the patrol, including another Goku, with him greeting Goku. Kinda angering Kakarot because once more, someone's calling him Goku.
I watched that one.
It's kind of annoying at this point, especially now that Cell's doing it. Cell's pretty confident that he's going to be able to do well here. In terms of raw strength, he now has more than enough power to actually fend them off. Especially because Piccolo's not here. He's the strongest patroller, so it shouldn't be too bad. But the patrol wastes no time. Pretty much instantly, Cell tries to skip time by 3 seconds. But Hit and Granola are able to counter this. Not only being able to move around during the skip time, but negating Cell's time skip, and then stopping time on their own on top of it. Same goes for Kakamasu. He is the Supreme Kai of Time after all. Cell can't move. He can't believe it. These two shouldn't be stronger than him, and they're not. But their time controlling abilities, they're much better with that than Cell is. Cell's conscious while time is stopped, and he tries to power up in order to counter this, but it's already too late. Time has stopped completely for him. As Hit and Granola go into attack, Cell somehow is able to move an arm during the stop time, barely being able to punch Hit away, causing time to resume. So, the time controlling can go that far. He didn't know it could be that potent, and he wonders if he could do more himself. Again, he's not too adept with time control, and he only just recently started using it. But if he tries it a few more times, maybe he'd be able to counter this pretty easily.
Right.
Besides, even if they get him in stop time, they don't have enough power to actually kill him. Although, he is a little bit concerned that they might have some sort of sealing technique. That's the best way they could stop him. He wonders where the rest of the patrol is too. Why aren't they all here on him? Every time he's met the patrol, they've only had a few people with them. But Cell shouldn't be concerned about that. These patrolmen are strong, but they're not on his level by any means. And this is a good way for him to see their abilities. But then, Cell starts to feel a weird sensation. That glitching, the same one that he felt before. He hasn't had this in a while because he's kind of been able to mitigate this. He's basically learned when to expect them, and either brace himself for it or try to counter it with his own abilities. Trying to stabilize himself in whatever continuity he's in, but he's never found a perfect counter, and they're able to induce it somehow, basically activating the glitching against him. This is Kakamasu's doing. He saw this weakness within Cell, and tries to exploit it. All the continuity patrolmen actually have a way to avoid this. They're hopping around different continuities, but unlike Cell, they actually know how to do this pretty well. And thanks to Cronoa, they basically exist outside of continuities. She essentially made them immune to this stuff. Of course, this doesn't apply to Cell, and now he's trapped by this, being basically stunned in midair. The patrolmen are all about to catch him. But while Cell can't move, he still does have help. Raibo and Gogi show. Not even needing to clash, they just create their own portals for Cell, doing it the same way he did. Cell is surrounded by them. The patrol can't really get closer because otherwise they'd go into the portals. And once all the portals dissipate, Cell's gone. He's able to barely escape again. And the instant he's out of there, he hops through more continuities, traveling through multiple realities basically on a whim. Using this to lose the patrol as he also opens up a bunch of other portals behind him. Cell is cocky here, but he's not stupid. He knows if he fights them, he definitely overpowers them, but their abilities are too much for him. He's been able to kind of mitigate glitching himself, but it's still a weak point for him, especially if they can control that. Plus, their time abilities are better than his. Again, they can't kill him, but they probably have a sealing technique, so he does have to watch out. But thankfully that experience did give him something. He read Kakamasu's mind a little bit more, and got some more info about the glitching and stuff. Now, he can't really stop it himself yet. He can still try and mitigate it a bit, but not fully stop it. He's still vulnerable to this, but at least he knows about the fact that they can induce it. Of course, the patrol's chasing him throughout all these portals, but eventually they hit a dead end. Cell's masking his presence too. Especially with him now knowing how to sense stuff outside of his continuity, he knows how to suppress his own presence, so they can't sense it outside of that. Once more, he's outsmarted them. Kakamasu's disappointed, and also angered. Of course, everyone's disappointed, but for Kakamasu it's a bit different. He's had many more negative emotions than them, especially with what happened when he fought Cell. This is mainly due to the Zamasu side of him. That suppressed malice within him is starting to bubble up, and the other patrolmen can sense it. It kinda does concern them, and maybe it's best if they head back for now. Kakamasu still wants to chase Cell, but they shouldn't be rash. They're not gonna find him just yet.
Right.
Besides, they can help the other patrolmen. Right now they're trying to recruit more people. Bardock's family has gone to recruit others alongside Piccolo. We haven't seen much of the other family members just yet, but we have seen Kakarot and Bardock. But in the original scenario where they're from, Bardock's whole family was actually recruited, which includes Raditz, Gine, and Ruda. With Ruda obviously being someone that doesn't exist in most continuities. They spent this whole time trying to recruit other people, and Piccolo's been really helpful for them. They need a bigger squad and a more powerful squad. Plus, Cell Prime isn't their only responsibility. But now that Cell's becoming a bigger and bigger threat, he's moving up in terms of priority. More of a reason they should get more recruits. Meanwhile, Cell Prime is in a new continuity. He could tell instantly. He's in Universe 7, it looks like. But he feels a terrifying presence. Not something scary or malicious, but an overwhelming power that he could sense throughout the universe. It's not even very potent, it's just in the background. He could feel it from this distance. He then feels a huge surge of power behind him. He feels part of himself being erased. Quickly, he splits himself into two, then using his own powers to counter the Hakai. Some god of destruction maybe just tried to erase him. But this power's different. It's not like any god of destruction he's faced before. He turns around to see what he assumes is Goku. It kinda looks like him, but he's in a completely different form, something that Cell's never seen before. He has long white hair and white fur, but more importantly his attire. He's wearing the attire of a god of destruction. Goku can already tell it's Cell. Of course he looks much different from the Cell that he fought, but he looks similar enough, and the different energies within him, that's pretty much a dead giveaway that this is Cell. And knowing that Cell could have his DNA, he tried to erase Cell right away. But something's weird about this Cell. Well, that makes two of them because Cell doesn't know what's up with this Goku. Why is he god of destruction, and why is he like that? Well, Goku simply explains that he's always at his peak. He stays in this form constantly, basically as a form of training. He has complete mastery over it. It's basically a combination of all his power, which does include Ultra Instinct. That's the one thing that Cell can recognize. He even activates his red eyes and can see. This Goku has no vital points. Unknowingly, Cell entered a timeline where Goku has mutated, one where he has potential far greater than normal. The strangest part about this is he doesn't sense the Continuity Patrol chasing him. They should definitely sense this power, but they don't do anything about it, because they don't see anything out of the ordinary. This continuity is a pretty strong one overall, and Goku's always this powerful. It's not really anything of concern. They could probably pick up on the power pretty easily, but it doesn't matter. Cell instantly goes into his prime form, knowing that his base probably won't be a match for this Goku. Again, he doesn't really know what this continuity's deal is, but he does know one thing for certain. It's a strong continuity. It could probably be pretty fun. Besides, if he can't defeat a simple god of destruction here, he's not fit to continue his journey. He's defeated others before. This one won't be an issue, even if it is Goku. He has new abilities. He's gained some of his power back too. A lot of power, actually. A clash between the two begins, with Cell also noting how surprising it is to see that Goku can survive out in space. He would think that's at least a weakness for him, but no. This Goku's far different from any Goku he's ever faced. And not just Goku, this is the strongest opponent he's faced ever. Although, he never really got a gauge on Piccolo's full power, but Piccolo still hasn't tapped into his full potential yet. He still has to try and unlock that. So, as they are currently, this Goku's actually the strongest person Cell's faced, even above Moro in terms of raw power. But thankfully for him, unlike Moro, this Goku doesn't seem to be adept at magic like Moro, at least not nearly to that level. The biggest issue with Moro there was the fact that he could take energy. With this Goku, it's just going to be a nice normal fight. Well, normal in the sense that there's not going to be much magic used here. This fight is anything but normal. Goku does have to be careful though, because Cell isn't holding anything back. Of course, they both have ki control, but Cell doesn't really care about that. He wants to fight with no restraints, and Goku obviously doesn't like that. But even while controlling his ki, Goku is able to keep up for a bit. Goku does seem to be above Cell, but not by a significant margin. If Cell can hold out for long enough during this battle, he can grow stronger through just pure progress alone. And not to mention, subtly he's trying to steal energy from this Goku, using his own magic, but he's doing it incredibly slowly so Goku doesn't notice. And Cell's confident he can win this, at least until another opponent shows up for him, starting to fight alongside Goku. He also can't really recognize this fighter, but by looking at his face, he can tell it's Gohan, even though this form looks completely different from anything he's seen Gohan in. Father and son teaming up against Cell.
I forgot about this story. Damn.
Gohan, of course, could feel all this from where he was, joining Goku without any hesitation. This is going to make the fight a lot tougher for Cell because the two of them together could probably beat him.
Gohan
So
got like
he starts to turn up the energy stealing,
Rose
trying to
or
steal
some
faster
shit.
than he was before. Focusing on Gohan too because he won't know anything about this Cell, and Cell goes purely on the defensive. He is taking attacks and taking a lot of damage, but slowly he heals himself by stealing energy. Any damage he takes gets healed by the energy he steals. They have so much power within them. He just has to be defensive. He just has to drag this out as long as possible. Of course, Goku and Gohan aren't really holding anything back. Without magic, Cell probably would have lost here already, especially now that he's fighting these two. He's enjoying the battle, but this is the most dangerous fight he's ever been in. Two opponents that are stronger than him, that can counter most of his abilities. And to make things even weirder, Cell senses a portal opening up nearby. He feels a sense of terror throughout his body, something he hasn't felt pretty much ever. It's an impending doom. He just feels death. Because through that portal, he could sense Goku and Gohan entering. There's two of each of them now. Of course, when he came to this continuity, he split the timeline which created another Goku and Gohan. And for them, traveling between timelines isn't really too hard. They have enough power to just do that pretty casually. Cell's dead here. There's no way out of this. But he's not going to give up. He has one thing that he tries to last-ditch effort. The main Gohan that he was fighting before. That's his target now. Quickly, he grabs onto Gohan and Kai somewhere random. Not just a planet in this universe, but one in a completely different universe. It's only a matter of time before the others find him. Gohan doesn't really know what Cell has planned here, but he's a coward for doing it, running away from the battle and taking a prisoner. But even so, it's not going to work. Gohan has more than enough power to fight him. And Cell says he knows that. He's just trying to even the playing field a bit. Gohan hasn't noticed this entire time. His energy's been drained by Cell a bit. And now that they're alone, Cell can completely focus on that. He focuses all his energy, all his magic. Gohan feels the power draining from him rapidly. He tries to fight back, but he can't do anything. He even drops back into his base form, and Cell leaves nothing left over. While he loves battle like this, he also does want to grow stronger still, by stealing more power. He drains Gohan of all his energy, assimilating it within himself. Thankfully, the capacity for the energy that he can hold has increased. He's not going to make the same mistake he did before where all the energy was just burning out. That's why he's been working to make his body stronger, but this will be good. Now it's a 3v1, and Cell's grown a lot stronger. This should help him. And this power, it's beautiful. That same feeling that he felt before, when he was drunk on power. He feels it again, that ecstasy from all the strength that he's absorbed. He missed this feeling. He wants more of it. He's being blinded by it. This all happens within seconds. The two Gokus and the other Gohan eventually do show up. Not even teleporting here, but just flying through the universe to come here. And even though Cell's only had a moment to himself, he was thinking. He's not even sure if he wants to finish this fight, because if he just does this again, it's gonna be too easy. He's already won here. But on top of that, he thinks back to the idea of the Cell games, that thought that was implanted in his mind. He might as well save some opponents for a fun challenge later. That'll make it much more fun, wouldn't it? He grabs onto one of the Gokus, absorbing all of his power too. The other Goku and Gohan try to stop him, but this time, he's so much stronger. They can't do anything. And then they realize what happened. The other Gohan's completely missing. Cell absorbed him and took all of his power, killing him too. Naturally, this enrages the main Goku that Cell was fighting before. But now with the power of the other Goku, Cell's able to easily fend him off. And he tells these two not to worry. He'll come back for them eventually. Now that they know his abilities and the fact that he exists, they should be prepared for it next time, and he won't use it in the next fight. He only really did this as a last resort. He wanted that power, and he didn't want to die just yet. He has so much more to do after.
Damn, this nigga Cell ruthless.
See them soon enough. As he then vanishes from this continuity, leaving behind the original Goku that was here, as well as the variant Gohan from the other timeline that he made. Both of whom are furious right now, and they're not even sure if they can revive the others. Their mortal bodies aren't the only things that are gone. Cell absorbed everything, their entire essence, their souls. It's basically existence erasure. The Dragon Balls can't bring them back. The Super Dragon Balls could, but Goku's not sure if they should use them just yet. If Cell can absorb power, what if they led him right to the Super Dragon Balls and then he absorbs Super Shenron? It's too risky. They don't know if he's still lurking around here, especially because he said he's going to come back eventually. They need to quell their anger for now. Meanwhile, Cell hops around hundreds of continuities once more. He'll make himself completely untraced, and he's starting to finally visualize a roadmap between continuities. He'll be able to get back to that other one. He does want to come back later after all. Although there is one thing that he takes from that other Goku, something that he learned. He wants to constantly stay in his prime form. That Goku was staying in whatever his peak form was. And Cell should try to do the same. That's his next goal now. All the while, the Continuity Patrol goes around collecting more members. And maybe Cell just led them to their newest recruits. This is where we'll leave off for now.
Okay.
What'd you think about this?
Okay, this is a cool story. This is cool. This is cool right here. I'm ready to finish this one. I like that. Now that I figured that I knew he was jumping through different like stories of Salad Sands, but now that I like recognized it, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So shout out to Salad Sands for this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Check out the last chapter right here, and check out another video you might like right here. And yeah, I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.